Hello, everyone. This is not the happiest of circumstances. This is not the Sports Talk with Dredd video I wanted to make, but it's one that needs to be made. But honestly, there's been one that I've been putting off for a few weeks now that I was going to make, that I was thinking about getting around to, and then I saw this story, and I literally just finished reading it for myself. I will link this story if you will desire to read it for yourself. And there is a link within the story to the report. Report is reportedly 107 pages. I'm not going to read it. This brief sum up is enough for me. But let's get into this because as a society, we need to. This is a sportsnet.ca/NHL article. It is titled "The Blackhawks Chose Chasing a Tarnished Cup Instead of Doing What's Right." This is by Luke Fox. It was put out October 26, 2021, which it still is October 26th, barely, as I record this. Editor's note: following story deals with sexual assault. May be upsetting for some readers. If you or someone you know is in need of support, those in Canada can find province-specific centers, crisis lines, and services here. For readers in America, a list of resources and references for survivors and their loved ones can be found here. If you need support for sexual assault, the fallout from sexual assault, because you know someone who was sexually assaulted, or because it's affecting you in some other way, find a place to get help, to find someone to talk to that you can trust, and do so. This photo by Jonathan Daniel of Getty Images. Here it says the 2010 Stanley Cup Championship banner is seen during a ceremony before the Chicago BlackHawks season home opener game against the Detroit Red Wings, the United Center, October 9th, 2010 in Chicago, Illinois. Thank you to Luke Fox for writing this article. This is upsetting. It's hard to talk about these things, but we have to. We can't hide from these. Because hiding from these things and hiding these things is what creates more problems and creates hell for people. So here we go. We're just plain old gonna read the article. Anything I got to say, I'll say at the end. Win at all costs, even if it means lying, covering up, ignoring victims, passing the buck, then lying some more. On May 23rd, 2010, a meeting took place with Chicago BlackHawks decision makers. John McDonough, Al McIsaac, Stan Bowman, Jay Blunk, Kevin Chiladeoff, Joel Quenneville, and Jim Gary, in which they discussed the allegations of sexual assault against their 27-year-old video coach, Brad Aldrich, by a player on their Black Aces. This is now public knowledge thanks to a 4-month investigation conducted by an independent firm, Jenner and Block LLP, who interviewed 139 people connected to the alleged assault and had full cooperation from the Blackhawks ownership. So at the time of this meeting on May 23, 2010, the team was mere hours removed from sweeping the San Jose Sharks and advancing to their first Stanley Cup final in 18 years. They decided to do more sweeping. Multiple witnesses recalled a discussion regarding whether the time was right to address the allegations in light of the playoffs. That's the allegations against video coach Brad Aldrich. Upon learning of Aldrich's actions, head coach Quenneville, quote, shook his head and said that it was difficult for the team to get where they are and they could not deal with this now. According to Bowman in the 107-page report. Warning, it contains disturbing material. McDonough, according to Bowman's interview with investigators, referenced the epic drought of the Chicago Cubs and that the organization better consider the difficulty of a deep playoff run before handling the issue. Ultimately, the hockey men in that room chose to stay quiet, to take zero action, to protect a predator, and to later present him with a 2010 diamond-studded championship ring engraved with the slogan, "One goal." Because it's the cup. Not only did the Blackhawks keep Aldrich on staff for the next 3 weeks, in doing so, they permitted him to allegedly make a sexual advance to a team intern during that time. Finally, he was given an ultimatum: step away or be subject to an internal investigation. That should have been the immediate... No. This, an internal investigation, should have been the immediate second thing that happened when they had their meeting. The immediate first thing was sending him home with pay, say you have nothing to do with the team until the internal investigation is finished. Give him pay until you finish the investigation. And then they should have done something. Should have fired him if they found the investigation, the allegations to be true. And they should have reported to the police. Should have worked with the player. Aldrich opted for his walking severance, $20,000, $20,622, and a $15,000 playoff bonus, and this glowing performance review from Quenneville. Aldrich did a great job for the coaching staff in preparing us for all of our meetings and coordinating several tasks that we forwarded his way. Brad has several people relying on him at the same moment and has a way of deflecting and accommodating everyone at once. Congrats on winning the Stanley Cup. Oh, and Aldrich also got his day with the Stanley Cup and attended other Cup celebrations. John Doe, which when they say John Doe would have been the person who lodged the complaint to the hockey higher-ups about what happened. So the victim was at some of those parties. One can only imagine trying to celebrate when the despicable truth is as impossible to spot as Patrick Kane's title-clinching goal. Much like Bowman did from both the Blackhawks and Team USA's Olympic squad on Tuesday, Aldrich wasn't fired. He resigned. Stepped aside was ownership's term. So I guess Mr. Bowman stepped away for the Blackhawks and Team USA Olympic squad when the report came out. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. He said nothing about it for 11 years. Over 11 years. Protected a predator. Allowed others to be hurt. Lied about it. And then stepped away before he could be fired when the report came out the same day. Also think about the fact that he wasn't fired. When the team knew what the report said, because they would have known before the report got released, they allowed him to step away. Oh, well, we'll look bad if we fired him, so yeah, you better maybe just step away. I hope, I really doubt it, but I hope this is the brick, the Jenga brick that when you pull it out, collapses the old boys network in the NHL forever. Yes, Brian Burke and others like you. I said forever. NHL's been run like the friggin' mafia. We all do, as so and so says, in this case, Gary Bettman. Now, I'm not blaming Bettman for what happened here. Maybe he honestly knew nothing about it. That's besides the point. I'm talking about the NHL in general. Been run like a mafia. No one's allowed to step outside the lines. No one's allowed to suggest anything other than the party line. And it's that kind of sickness that breeds this shit. All right, back to the article. So, what is a fireable offense? Yeah. The report is both disturbing and difficult to read, Blackhawks CEO Danny Wirtz said. It speaks for itself. As do the actions of all those who stood in the path of John Doe's need for help and justice. This story, as appalling and indefensible as it is, would not have come to light were it not for the excellent investigative reporting of Rick Westhead and Katie Strang. I am very grateful to have the truth recognized. I know I am not the only victim in this world of sexual abuse, and I hope my story can inspire change within the NHL and around the world, John Doe, the victim, told Westhead Tuesday afternoon. I'm still speechless. Words fail when trying to understand how the attempt to win a beautiful sport that rewards honest effort can foster such ugly moral corruption. It's putting it lightly. The NHL fined the Blackhawks $2 million after reviewing the report, a drop in the bucket for an organization that just handed out a $32.4 million contract to a player this summer and is coming off a 535-game sellout streak. Oh, they're sellouts, all right. I know someone does agree with me, but if I'm commissioner and this report hits my desk, I suspend the Blackhawks organization for the rest of the season. They're done. They're not playing. They're not making anything. They're done. And I'm telling them, you come back in the summer after the Stanley Cup's rewarded. You tell me what you've done in the meantime to make this right, or as right as you can make it. And if I'm okay with it, what you've done in the meantime, then I allow you back in the NHL. Otherwise, you continue to be out. Now, it's all very well to say, well, that was 11 years ago. It's not the current people's fault. You've got a point, and you don't. And what about those who are at fault who are now in other organizations? Blackhawk fans will gather inside United Center Wednesday for another hockey game. Their team, a collection of men who put team performance above all else, Wirtz said, will skate under a 2010 championship banner that now hangs tainted. The lives weave through the fabric of 2013 and 2015, too. As an Edmonton Oilers fan, I wonder, did Duncan Keith know this was coming? Is that part of the reason he left? Only Duncan Keith will know the answer to that. I don't know. But I'm curious. But this investigation, its damning conclusions, and the settlement attempts about to follow has now stretched beyond one team and its one goal. Oh, here we go. Joel Quenneville knew. He's currently the head coach of the Florida Panthers. Kevin Cheveldayoff knew. He's the long-serving general manager of the Winnipeg Jets. Both publicly denied prior knowledge or involvement in the Aldrich cover-up as recently as July. Are y'all reading this? Are y'all getting this? Are you hearing this shit? Both denied prior knowledge or involvement in the Aldrich cover-up as recently as July. The old boys network is on the fritz. Is it? Let me scroll back up for a minute. The NHL fined the Blackhawks $2 million after reviewing the report. The old boys network is on the fritz. Oh, it's falling apart. They're all so upset. The NHL fined the Blackhawks $2 million after reviewing the report. A drop in the bucket. Words fail when trying to understand how the attempt to win a beautiful sport that rewards honest effort can foster such ugly moral corruption. The NHL fined the Blackhawks $2 million after reviewing the report. What doesn't fit here? The old boys network is on the fritz. It's a bump in the road. Smooth out the cement so that the toes and the noses don't stick out of the cement, and just throw it back in the lake. No one will know. No one will know all the other things we've done, right? More fallout is coming. We can only hope more truth and responsibility comes too. Well, that would be nice. I'll believe it when I see it. Some costs aren't worth winning for. Some diamonds are forever tarnished. Well, let's just take a look at this story right here. Pop this up, take a look at it. Stan Bowman steps down as GM of 2022 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team. Stan Bowman has resigned as GM of the U.S. hockey team after an investigation into sexual assault allegations in 2010 with the Chicago BlackHawks revealed he knew about the situation and did not report it to the authorities. I'm going to throw two things out from just having read that sentence. One, he's going to get the shit sued out of him. He better be lawyering up, and I'm sure he friggin' is. Two, there could very well be charges against him. Criminal charges. Bowman resigned his job with the Chicago Blackhawks earlier Tuesday after the release of an independent review in response to two lawsuits filed against the franchise. One by a player identified as John Doe, alleging sexual assault by then assistant coach Brad Aldrich in 2010. Another filed by a former student whom Aldrich was convicted of assaulting in Michigan later on. In light of what's happened today, I think it's in the best interest of USA Hockey for me to step aside, Bowman said in a statement. I'm grateful to have been selected and wish our team the very best in Beijing. Wow, what a great time, Stan Bowman, to think about doing what's best for hockey, right? Hey, doing what's best for hockey 11 years ago. Really worked out well, didn't it? Oh, you've learned so much during that time. Piece of shit human being. Bettman to meet Quenneville and Cheveldayoff over roles in Blackhawks scandal. Well, I bet he will. He'll probably fine them all $50,000. In the wake of the bombshell independent investigation, which revealed the Chicago Blackhawks mishandled. They didn't mishandle allegations. They covered it up and allowed criminal activities to keep happening. That a former assistant coach sexually assaulted a player in 2010. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman announced he plans to arrange personal meetings with Joel Quenneville and Kevin Cheveldayoff. Don Bettman. Both of whom were with the team when the allegations were first reported to discuss their roles in the situation. Neither man is currently with the Blackhawks. Quenneville serves as head coach of the Florida Panthers. Cheveldayoff is the GM of the Winnipeg Jets. With respect to Messrs. Cheveldayoff and Quenneville, oh, we're getting all, wow, pontification here, who are currently employed by NHL clubs out of the Blackhawks, I plan to arrange personal meetings in the near future. Yeah, when I've got time, we'll talk about it over coffee. With both individuals to discuss their roles in the relevant events as detailed in the report, said Bettman in a statement. I will reserve judgment on next steps, if any, with respect to them. If you don't demand they both step down, or you should be demanding their organizations fire them. You shouldn't even allow them to step down. But I'm sure you won't do that. So if you don't demand they both step down immediately from their roles and stay away from the NHL for a while, then Gary Bettman's as big a piece of shit as I think he is. It's just pretty big for a small man. Panthers declined to comment beyond saying they were aware of Bettman's plans to meet with Quenneville. Cowards. Florida Panthers, you cowards. In a statement released Tuesday night, Cheveldayoff said he had shared everything he knew about the matter and would not provide comment until after his conversation with Bettman. Yet earlier in the year, he denied having anything to do with it. Shared everything I know about this matter as part of my participation in Jenner and Block's investigation. That is reflected in today's investigation report. Further, I look forward to my discussion with Commissioner Bettman. Oh, I'm sure you do. At the soonest possible date to continue to cooperate fully with the National Hockey League, I will reserve any further comment until after that conversation has been conducted. Makes me sick. Cheveldayoff was the Blackhawks' assistant GM from 9 to 11 before he was hired by the Jets. Said in July he had no knowledge of any allegations involving Mr. Brad Aldrich until asked if he was aware of anything just prior to the conclusion of his employment with the Blackhawks. So, in other words, you were at the meeting. In other words, you were at the meeting where they decided not to do anything. The fact that you didn't know anything before the meeting doesn't mean anything if there was a meeting where you were told and you all decided not to do anything. Asshole. Fuck, people are stupid. Quenneville, who served as head coach of the Blackhawks from 8 to 18, said in July that he'd first learned of these allegations through the media earlier this summer. In a statement provided by the Panthers to the Associated Press. Liar! The findings of the independent investigation into the Blackhawks' handling of the situation by Jenner and Block law firm contradicted the claims made by both Cheveldayoff and Quenneville. According to the report, read right here, Cheveldayoff and Quenneville part of a club meeting to discuss the allegations that then assistant coach Aldrich had sexually assaulted a player. Meeting took place on May 23rd, 2010, an hour after the Blackhawks' playoff win that secured the team's place in the finals. Featured other people like former team president John McDonough, hockey operations executive Al McIsaac, former executive vice president Jay Blunk, and then general manager Stan Bowman. Accounts of the meeting varied from participant to participant. In other words, some of them were lying. However, they consistently recall being informed of an incident between Aldrich and John Doe involving an unwelcome sexual advance. So, Quenneville was not present for the first portion of the meeting, according to what other participants in the meeting said during the investigation. He was called upstairs to join after it started. Oh, so you're thinking, oh, then it's fine. He wasn't there for the first part. Don't worry about it. He's not at fault then. Quenneville remembered others in the meeting stating that an event happened without saying what happened. So he came up to the meeting and according to Quenneville, they told him something happened, but they wouldn't tell him what. But according to Bowman's recollection of events, after learning of the incident, Quenneville shook his head and said it was hard for the team to get to where they were in the playoffs and they could not deal with this issue now. Hey, screw the guy who got sexually assaulted and anyone else who may get sexually assaulted by this guy. We're going to the Stanley Cup final. We can't deal with this. Bastard. Quenneville's recollection was less specific, recalling only his focus was on winning. The meeting was unexpected, and he was unclear whether Aldrich's name was referenced. Dayoff, however, did tell investigators he remembered Aldrich's name coming up. It is not known if it was mentioned before Quenneville arrived. Dayoff recalled the group was told there were allegations that Aldrich was socializing with players outside the arena. Aldrich sent inappropriate texts to players, and Aldrich made unwanted advances on players. Bowen's account of events did not include anyone present explicitly referencing the idea that the matter should be tabled until after the playoffs. Instead, the discussion centered on finding out more details about what happened. Bowen wanted to say, per the report, that he asked McDonough what he wanted to do. McDonough responded that Bowman should leave it to McDonough. Blackhawks CEO Danny Wirtz announced on Tuesday no executive involved with 2010 will be with the organization any longer. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, people. Absolutely freaking disgusting. If this is what it means to chase the Stanley Cup, if this is the kind of shit we have to brush under the rug while people get hurt very badly, then we should just shut down the NHL totally. It's not worth it to human lives to do this. This is a very upsetting story. Thank you all who have tuned in for it or who read the article yourself. I hope you're upset as well. I hope your compassion and your humanity is greater than your love of sport. So that you two are not brushing this under the rug and sweeping it out of the way and trying to make excuses. This could have been me, this could have been you. God help us this never happens again in hockey, but it will. We'll see where we go from here. We'll see what the old boys club does. I've got very little hope that they'll do enough. But it's time this thing crumbled down to the ground. Thanks for joining me. This has been Sports Talk with Dredd. It's not a happy occasion, but it's a necessary one. For Miss Valley Gaming, also called Miss Valley Arts and Entertainment, my name is Dredd. Peace out, everybody. Hug your loved ones.